Welcome to the Unstoppable Joy Podcast, the show where faith meets functional medicine and healing runs deeper than surface level fixes. I'm your host, Kathryn McAdam, a board-certified family nurse practitioner, functional medicine provider, speaker, best-selling author, and co-creator of the Empowered Method. After walking through trauma, burnout, and homelessness, I had gained over 70 pounds. It wasn't until I discovered that true healing isn't just about diet and labs. It's about aligning your body with biblical truth and reclaiming your divine design. Now I help Christians just like myself to restore energy, rebalance hormones, and heal their gut so that they can step boldly into their God-given calling, body, mind, and spirit. Here you'll find root cause strategies, powerful testimonies, biblical insight, and a whole lot of joy, because your healing isn't just about you. It's about the legacy you're called to carry. And joy isn't a side effect. It's a strategy, and it's time to take it back. So let's get started. Hello there, and welcome to the Unstoppable Joy Podcast, Backyard Edition. I am Kathryn McAdam. I'm a functional medicine nurse practitioner. I have here with me my husband, Joe. Hey, Joe.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, just lovely.
It's a little bit hot out today, and so we decided that we just enjoy the fresh air and sit out here and do our podcast because we're going to be talking about
Grilling.
Yeah. So summertime grilling. Everybody loves grilled meat, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an American pastime.
Yes, it is.
Starting back, we could give the history of grilling, which I think it starts with Kingsford, right?
It does with Henry Ford and Kingsford and all that. And it was that's pretty interesting. Good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they actually started trying to sell something that people would be able to do when they traveled.
Actually, I think it started when Henry Ford was trying to use all of the at his lumber company from his cars and all that, all of the products. So he pressed the sawdust into compressed briquettes, and then he sold it as a grilling feature. And then he also, I think, had a grill that went with the car. Yeah, so then that set off just a huge grilling and campfire type thing, and the briquettes were Kingsford.
Yeah,
it started out that way. Yeah.
So now here we are, all these years later, and camping is basically a pastime where millions of people spend lots of money to act like they're homeless, right?
Right. Good call.
So we want to talk about grilling because did you know that there's safe and unsafe grilling practices?
Oh yeah, definitely. We should get back to the why we're even talking about this, and we took a look at our grill from the previous years, which is only, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years old.
Mm-hmm. About 5 years old.
5 years old, yeah. And we opened it up or whatever, and some paint was chipping out the inside, things like that. So and it just seemed to be falling apart. So we needed to get a new grill.
Yeah, because they don't recommend that you eat paint chips.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So
Tommy boy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you bought a new grill in a while, but you think it's gonna be a really cool thing, experience, get a new grill and all this stuff, but the choices are overwhelming.
Endless. Yeah, and there's crazy differences in the price point too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But so that got us thinking, like, one of the big things that we've learned through functional medicine and science has proven that you want to avoid anything that's a carcinogen. And carcinogens are anything that basically are changing your DNA. They do damage to your DNA through things called free radicals. One of those things that does that is the char, any veggies or meat that you might put on your grill. Mm-hmm. So you're back to this dilemma. Like we want to enjoy the summer and be able to grill out, and it's American pastime, but we don't want to take the fun out of it. But how do we do it safer? And so we're going to talk today about some safer grilling techniques, things that you should avoid, things that you might not have thought about. So let's dive in. So our first question is, what kind of meat should you look for?
Well, obviously, just like any other type of meat, as far as what you're going to eat is, the organic, the grass-fed, the wild-caught proteins, and, the chicken, the beef, and all that type of thing, like the fish.
What about hot dogs?
As much as I love them, it's probably not the best idea.
Yeah, so if you're gonna do hot dogs or any kind of processed meat, really avoid the nitrates and the nitrites because they're literally have shown that they are just as bad for you as smoking, which was like, I don't know, like how many years that study came out, but man, it was like eye-opening for me. It was like, holy cow, like how did I miss this? Because I had been, just, not that we eat a lot of processed meats, but even like your lunch meat, like you and bacon and all that stuff, you just have to just be really mindful. The best is to try to get some fresh meat. You can even make your own to avoid all the additives that they put in, all that junk that they put in um, lunch meat and hot dogs, brats, all that. Um, so yeah, so that's one thing. They always recommend that you cut the fat off of your meat. Do you know why they say that?
No, I do not.
So it kind of goes back to the whole thing of like why we carry extra weight around our midsection. And that is that the fat is where all of our bodies, including the mammals that we eat, the birds, the fish, that's where the toxins are stored. The body naturally is trying to be protective. And so it stores all the toxins in the fat. And so many of us, me included, I struggled with that middle belly fat, especially as I've gone through menopause, just because my body is trying to protect itself against the xenoestrogens, all the things that we encounter every day. And we go into more detail on this. I know I'm geeking out about this, but it's all the chemicals, the pesticides, the herbicides, the all the fragrances and all the junk they put in our foods, packaging, all the plastics, all that stuff. They are toxic to our bodies. And your body is naturally just trying to be protected. It's protecting its vital organs, the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the lungs, the liver. What it does is it stores it in the body as fat. And so that's the same thing with animals. So that's why you're supposed to cut the fat off of your meats that you're grilling to try to avoid then ingesting those.
Can you cook with the fats and then cut it off, or should you cut it off beforehand?
You should cut it off beforehand. Yes, because the thing is, like, as it heats up again, it's going to release those toxins and the char also. Like as the fat drips down and hits the whatever you're burning, right? The smoke comes up and gets into that meat, and that's why you're supposed to cut that off. And I've grilled for years and never even thought twice about it.
Right.
But now that I know better, so I'm trying to get people, awareness, right? Awareness is key, because so many of us, we do things every day and we just don't even realize, especially about like all the fragrances and all that stuff. That's a whole nother podcast. Just detoxing from all the soup of chemicals that we expose ourselves to. Yeah.
I mean, even like it says the anti-inflammatory marinades too, and things like that. You should use more of the natural things. Like the garlics and the turmerics and that type of thing.
So explain that a little bit when you say anti-inflammatory. So those are the things that help us to decrease inflammation in our bodies, right? And so what would be like, I guess what's our go-to? We do Italian dressing that like at best is homemade. And if you use things like avocado oil, it has a higher smoke point, which means you'll have less of that carcinogen getting into your char of your meat. You'll have less that on your meat, veggies, whatever. So the higher the smoking point, it means that you can cook your meal longer before it starts to smoke.
Right.
And so that's really interesting to think about, kind of trying to counteract, the char and all that of the grilling, and kind of offset the risk factor by adding those healthier oils.
It's going against everything that we grew up with.
I know, right?
Hot dogs, hamburgers, char grills,
Yeah.
that type of thing. And I mean, I just remember cooking on about anything at the parks and stuff like that,
Oh, I know. Like the charcoal briquettes.
Yeah.
And so many people just douse everything with like
all the lighter fluid.
Mm-hmm. And you end up ingesting that. Especially, they say let your charcoal burn down and that sort of thing. So what else you got for us? Anything else? Any other tips that you got?
I was thinking also along the lines of what you eat with it too. You know,
That's true.
back in the day, it was chips, it was Doritos, it was all the good things. You know, they go on the side of your plate, you grab a handful of chips, you know, for your burger, then you squeeze a bunch of ketchup on it, and that type of thing. Ketchup's got a lot of sugar. Well, the condiments that you put on there also can really make a huge difference in your waistline and your health and all that.
Yeah.
So like anything on the side or anything like that too, you know, like veggies, you know, I mean, and if you season them right, you know, I'm learning, you know, I mean, your veggies can taste good like that too. And you can even make some veggie chips and things like that too,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been really enjoying lately is some of the carrots and the radish. They come in like these little like wedges that almost look like potato chips
Mm-hmm.
with the little ridges on 'em. And they're so tasty for dipping, and they're just so crunchy. It adds a little bit of crunch in it. You know, I do like a chip every once in a while, but for the most part, like I have just been the more that I incorporate clean eating into my diet, the more I crave healthy foods.
Mm-hmm.
And I, the whole idea of eating healthy isn't just to shrink your waistline. It's protective. It's so that you can have the energy that you need, that you can feel good and show up for your family, have mental clarity and sleep better. I notice for sure if I eat sugar, I feel awful and it keeps me up at night. Or which you wouldn't think about, what you eat keeping you up unless you eat like a big spicy meal or something towards evening. But yeah, it's been eye opening for me. So any other tips for grilling?
Um, let's see. We've covered a lot of it there. It's just you can make it taste good with the seasonings you put on, basically is what the thing is that's the thing. You just kind of be conscious about what you're putting into your conscientious about what you're putting into your body.
Mhm. Yeah. So some of the marinades that we like, of course, is like Italian dressing, and we've got some great recipes for that in our new book in the recipe stack that we've got there. But we also have so one of my favorites is something that my sister shared with me. It's olive oil or avocado oil and balsamic vinegar
Very good.
and then some garlic powder. And it's so simple. It's just those three things. You can put salt on there if you want to. But it's just those simple ingredients. It adds so much flavor. I don't miss eating out because I know like how I can make the food taste so amazing that like I just would rather us cook at home because I
Yeah.
know what's in the food. And that's one of the challenges is finding healthy places to eat out and knowing their process. Especially now I have a soy allergy, so I have to really avoid a lot of mayonnaise, dressing, everything has soy in it.
Yeah. I have some allergies too, and it's a little frustrating. I didn't even know I had them until we got tested. So it's a great idea to get tested. If you don't know what's bothering you or something that kind of keeps flaring up, and it's like, yeah, you don't know what that is, and you don't really want to go through the fasting, or you don't want to go through the elimination. A quick cheat code type thing is to get tested for allergies. I mean, and not just the ones that you go in there with your doctor or whatever. You can do a home test. We've got them. We can send them right to your home, and it's easy. You send it in, and they send it back in about, I don't know, maybe a week,
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
over a week.
yeah.
And
About 7 days, you get good turnaround.
found out I was allergic to black pepper, which I'm like, what? And then I had the soy thing too, which is soy's in everything, as we said, and just a lot of things you don't think of. And there's things that you're allergic to, and there's things that you're intolerant to that you can help by clearing out your gut that will also help you feel better.
Yeah,
That you can reintroduce to your diet.
yeah. That's for the things that you're sensitive to. Those are the things that basically because you have leaky gut, you will have sensitivities to certain things, and those, thank goodness, you can clear those if you know what to do. And that's one thing that we really help people with in our practice. And honestly, like just I'm so excited about our book because it has so many great recipes in there. And we have a whole part of a meal prep, and it takes the guesswork out of like what do I eat and how do I do this, and I've got so many different sauces in there, and like we joke about like if I had a second job or in another life,
Saucier,
but yeah,
sassy saucier. She gets
that's
a little
my
sassy
that's my
sometimes.
next job is saucier. But anyway, so yeah, so grilling can be fun. And you know, you don't have to stop grilling completely, but just be mindful of how you're doing it. What about smoking?
I do say it's good to say it's good to work as a team too, as far as the grilling goes, and as far as any of your eating habits go. If the person that you're living with, married to, whatever, if you can kind of hold each other accountable with those type of things, if one person starts cheating on their food and their diet and things like that, that's way too easy. Like when you get your chocolate cravings, you know. But I'm like, well, I didn't even know I wanted chocolate, but now I do. So yeah, like if you have help with the meal prep and things like that, and you always have the things on hand that are healthy is a key thing. And that's also in your book, which this book just came out like this week, and we're getting the word out on it right now. It's a quick read, and it's got 6 amazing tools with it. And, I mean, it's really impressive. I'm really proud of yours.
It's called Blessed Body, and it's on sale now. It's only a digital copy so far. We will be offering a workbook that goes along with it because there's so much to it. I talk about, you know, how to reclaim your health, basically body, mind, and spirit. And the way that we work with people is so different than so many of these programs that are out there today. A lot of them say, you know, clean up your eating or make sure you're working out a certain way. But they don't address the spiritual aspect. And that's how we are different, really. Because we address not just the body and the mind, but the spirit as well, which, you know, let's face it, like, unless you are deep down believing that you need help to change, right? Or that you are able to change, you know, like that, well, who said that? If you believe you can't, you can't. If you believe you can, you can. Like, anyway, we address the heart of the issue by addressing the spiritual side of things. You know, you can change. People can change, but it takes the power of Christ inside. And I've seen it myself to truly change. And having the practical tools like my book, super helpful. And making that change. It's a catalyst. Let's stop missing out on God's best for us, because God's best is that we'd be healthy, body, mind, and spirit. What about smoking? What about smoking? Okay, so here's the big question. To smoke or not to smoke?
Well, I think there's just like anything.
Not cigarettes and
exactly.
nothing else, but smokers, as far as grilling, and it kind of goes along with that. So is it safe to smoke your meats?
I think it still can go both ways on that type of thing, you know. So I mean, you have the lowered cooking temperatures, and so you have it like less charring. So that's a benefit. You get more nutrients, you know, because it preserves the nutrients because versus the high heat methods and things like that. It's got a cleaner flavor usually because you're doing like the wood chips and that help with the flavor versus trying to overpower it with slapping on a bunch of sugary sauces and things. As far as that goes, what are some of your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so, you know, low and slow is better as far as cooking any kind of food in it. And you just have to be mindful, right, of your heat source. Again, the briquettes, and like I said, a lot of people douse everything with the lighter fluid, and that just is defeating the purpose, right? You don't want to ingest any kind of fuel.
Right.
So
it basically all comes down to the quality of ingredients, and that goes from the meats you put on there to the sauces and the rubs, you know, to make sure that they're clean ingredients for the most part. Yeah, even the wood and things like that you choose. I mean, you could pick up some wood that's been processed or tied together, bound with the pellets with chemicals and that. So the clean everything that you use, from the food to the wood to the burning process and the lower temperatures for not burning things, I think is the best way to go.
Yeah.
With anything, and simplifying your eating and things like that, you know.
And simple doesn't have to be tasteless.
No, not at all.
We have just discovered herbs. All the herbs are like basically superpowers. They have antifungal, like cinnamon. I was blown away. Cinnamon has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial properties to it. Just like, what? Cinnamon?
Right.
Plus, it helps people with their diabetes. It helps them maintain your blood sugar. So, you know, there's lots of variety that you can add with just herbs. One thing I wanted to say, you know, a lot of us are thinking, oh gosh, like, I can't afford to have this grass-fed, organic, grass-finished meats, eggs, whatever, right? And it can be kind of frustrating and feeling like you're defeated even before you get started. Especially if you're trying to feed a family, that's can be really hard.
Right.
And so basically what we recommend is the things that you're encountering on a regular basis. So say you have eggs every morning, like we do pretty much. Try to get them from a local farm that are free range, that are have organic feed, or say you eat a lot of beef, whatever you're exposed to a lot, basically whatever chemicals or processes are on that product, whether it's, a dairy product or meat or even like personal products, right? Detergents, soaps and lotions, all that stuff. The more you can eliminate your repeated exposure to it, the better. So for us, like we have coffee every morning. I tried mushroom coffee and then I found out I'm allergic to mushrooms, so that's was out for me. But I love a cup of coffee, and so we look to have organic coffee. And what we put in our coffee, we make sure we have organic. We have clean creamer and that sort of thing. If we are going to put those things in there, or almond milk, we try to make sure that we have the organic, no sugar added almond milk that we use for our lattes and that sort of thing. But it's because we have that every day. So we prioritize the things that we're going to have every day because I know it's expensive. Food is just expensive right now, and it just seems to be getting worse. And so that's one way that you can, feel like you have some control over like all the junk that you're exposed to. So anyway, we just wanted to come on here and talk about grilling and healthy grilling and give people some safety tips. So number one, basically trim the fat off of your meat before you grill it. Number two, if you can afford it, if it's something you're having on a regular basis, do look for organic, grass-fed, the meats that are cleaner. If you're going to have salmon, fish, that sort of thing, the smaller the fish, the less fat and less exposure they've had to carcinogens. Um, and, the cold water fish are best. So like Norway and the Pacific Northwest, I think, are the best. And then making sure that you're adding in the healthy fats, right? So like the avocado oil, and olive oil, those things that would be kind of protective. And then all the herbs and spices and all that. And then again, watch your sugar from all your barbecues and that stuff. Make your own. I have a great recipe called the Super Ninja Sauce that I created. That's a great basis for a barbecue sauce or any kind of Asian, kind of like an Asian zing type sauce. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you found it educational and inspirational, and happy grilling.
Happy grilling.
Be blessed. If you've been praying for clarity, strength, and breakthrough in your body, then this book is your next step. Blessed Body isn't just another health and wellness book. It's a Holy Spirit guided blueprint to restore your gut health, renew your mind, align your body with your calling. You'll learn the same system that helped me lose 70 pounds, heal my body, and reclaim my purpose. You'll get all the exact tools and the biblical insight that my clients spend thousands to get. And it's all for just $4.99. Click the link below, grab your copy, start reading and healing today.